The space station floated silently above Earth, like a giant metal ring. It was called Unity Station, and it was the place where humans met aliens from across the galaxy. Ships came and went every day, carrying creatures that most humans had never imagined could exist. Tae-won stood by the large window and watched a silver ship approach the docking bay. He was 32 years old, tall, with kind eyes and a calm face. He worked as a xenobiologist, which meant he studied alien life forms. But today, his job was different. Today, he was assigned to be a guide for a very important visitor. He looked down at his tablet and read the information again. The Valorians were coming. They were one of the oldest species in the galaxy, with technology far beyond what humans could understand. Their civilization was more than 50,000 years old. Humans had only been traveling in space for 300 years. The door behind him opened, and his supervisor walked in. Director Hannah was a strict woman with gray hair and sharp eyes. "The Valorian ship has docked," she said. "Are you ready?" "Yes, Director," Tae-won replied. He tried to hide his nervousness. "Remember," Hannah continued, "these are not ordinary visitors. The Valorians look down on younger species. They think we are primitive. Do not give them any reason to think they are right." Tae-won nodded. He had studied everything about the Valorians. He knew they were humanoid, with silver skin and purple eyes. They were beautiful by human standards, but he also knew they were cold and logical. They did not understand human emotions very well. He walked through the long corridor toward the docking bay. The metal walls reflected the soft blue lights above him. Other workers passed by, some human and some alien. A small green creature with 4 arms waved at him. Tae-won smiled and waved back. When he reached the docking bay, the Valorian ship had already opened its doors. A group of tall figures stepped out. Their skin was like polished silver, and their eyes glowed with a soft purple light. They wore long white robes that seemed to float around them. At the front of the group was a woman. She was taller than Tae-won, with long silver hair that fell past her shoulders. Her face was beautiful but cold, like a statue made of ice. She looked around the docking bay with an expression that said she was not impressed. Tae-won stepped forward, bowed slightly. "Welcome to Unity Station. I am Lieutenant Tae-won. I will be your guide during your stay." The woman looked at him. Her purple eyes studied his face for a long moment. "I am Ambassador Yura," she said. Her voice was smooth and musical. "I am also a geneticist. I have come to study your species." Tae-won felt strange when she said that. It was like she was talking about studying an animal, not a person. But he kept his smile on his face. "I hope you will find your stay comfortable," he said. "Please follow me. I will show you to your quarters." Yura nodded slightly. The other Valorians followed behind her as Tae-won led them through the station. He pointed out different areas as they walked. The medical bay, the research labs, the garden where humans grew plants from Earth. Yira showed little interest in most things. But when they passed the garden, she stopped. She looked at the green plants with something like curiosity. "You grow living things here," she said. "In space?" "Yes," Tae-won replied. "Humans need to see growing things. It helps us feel connected to home." Yura tilted her head slightly. "Interesting. My people stopped such practices long ago. We found them inefficient." Tae-won did not know how to respond to that. He simply nodded and continued walking. Over the next few days, Tae-won spent most of his time with Yura. She asked many questions about humans. How did they reproduce? How long did they live? What diseases did they suffer from? The questions were always scientific, never personal. Tae-won answered everything honestly. He explained that humans lived about 120 years now, thanks to modern medicine. He told her about human families and how parents raised their children. Yura listened carefully and took notes on a small device. One evening, they sat in the observation room. The stars stretched out before them like diamonds scattered across black cloth. Yura stared out the window in silence. "May I ask you a question?" Tae-won said. Yura looked at him. "You may. Why are you really here? I know you said you want to study humans. But I feel like there is something more. Yura was quiet for a long moment. Then she spoke. My species is dying. Taewan's eyes widened. What do you mean? We cannot reproduce, Yura explained. Her voice remained calm, but Taewan thought he saw something like sadness in her eyes. For thousands of years, our birth rate has been falling. Now, only 3 out of every 1,000 attempts result in a child. Most couples try for decades and never succeed. Taewan felt a chill run down his spine. That is terrible. It is simply reality, Yura said. We have searched the galaxy for solutions. We have tried to find species that might be genetically compatible with us. Humans are on that list. Compatible? Taewan repeated. You mean, yes, Yura said. We are studying whether humans could help us produce children. It is purely scientific, of course. We have no expectation of success, but we must try everything. Taewan did not know what to say. He looked at Yura differently now. Behind her cold exterior, she was fighting to save her entire species. He felt a new respect for her. I hope you find what you are looking for, he said softly. Yura looked at him. For just a moment, her expression softened. Thank you, Taewan. That is kind of you to say. They sat together in silence after that, watching the stars. Taewan did not know it yet, but his life was about to change in ways he could never imagine. And so was the future of 2 entire species. 3 months passed on Unity Station. Taewan and Yura spent almost every day together. He showed her human culture. She taught him about Valorian science. Slowly, something changed between them. Yura still spoke in her cold, logical way. But sometimes, Taewan caught her smiling at his jokes. She even tried human food once, though she said it was strangely textured. These small moments made Taewan happy in ways he did not fully understand. One morning, Director Hannah called Taewan to her office. Her face was serious when he walked in. Sit down, she said. Tae-I sat in the chair across from her desk. Is something wrong, Director? Hannah folded her hands together. The Galactic Union has approved a new program. It is called the Interspecies Compatibility Project. The goal is to test whether different species can reproduce together. Taewan felt his heart beat faster. And the Valorians are part of this? They are leading it, Hannah replied. Ambassador Yara has volunteered to be the first Valorian test subject, and she has requested that you be the human participant. Taewan's mouth fell open. Me? Why me? She says you are the human she knows best. She trusts you, Hannah leaned forward. This is not an order, Taewan. You can refuse. But I want you to understand what this could mean. If this works, it could save the Valorian species. It could change the relationship between humans and the rest of the galaxy. Taewan sat in silence. His mind was racing. He thought about Yura and the sadness he had seen in her eyes when she talked about her dying species. He thought about what it would mean to be a father. He thought about everything. Can I have time to think about it? He asked. Of course, Hannah said. Take all the time you need. That evening, Taewan found Yara in the research lab. She was looking at data on a large screen. When she saw him, she turned around. You spoke with your director, she said. It was not a question. Yes. Taewan walked closer to her. You asked for me specifically? Why? Yura was quiet for a moment. Then she spoke in her usual calm voice. You are kind. You are patient. You treat me like a person, not like a strange creature. In 3 months, you have never once looked at me with fear or disgust. These qualities matter for this project. Taewan felt warmth spread through his chest. That is because you are a person, Yura. A strange and beautiful person, but still a person. Something flickered in Yura's purple eyes. She quickly looked away. I must explain what this project involves. I do not want you to agree without understanding. She pressed a button and images appeared on the screen. They showed Valorian couples in medical facilities. Complex machines surrounded them. Doctors monitored every detail. Among my people, Yura said, reproduction is a long and difficult process. We must prepare our bodies for weeks with special treatments. We need controlled environments with exact temperature and humidity. Even then, conception almost never happens. She changed the image. Now it showed numbers and charts. Our success rate is 0.3%. That means if 1,000 couples try to have a child, only 3 will succeed. And that is with our own species. With a different species, the chances are even lower. Tae-won studied the charts. So you think this will fail? I think this will almost certainly fail, Yura agreed. But we must try. I am asking you to commit to many attempts over several years, perhaps 50 or more. We will monitor everything scientifically. There will be no emotional attachment. It is purely for research. She said these words firmly, but Tae-won noticed that she did not look at him when she spoke. If it works, he asked, what happens to the child? Yura finally met his eyes. The child would be raised by both of us, I suppose. We have not thought that far ahead. Success seems so unlikely. Tae-won walked to the window and looked out at the stars. He thought about his life. He had always been alone. His parents died when he was young. He had no brothers or sisters. He joined the space program because he wanted to find something meaningful to do with his life. Maybe this was it. Maybe this was his purpose. He turned back to Yura. I will do it. Yura blinked. You agree? You do not need more time. I have thought about it enough, Tae-won said. Your people need help. I can help. That is enough reason for me. Yura walked toward him slowly. She stopped when she was very close. Tae-won, I must be honest with you. My people do not believe in love or romance. We see reproduction as a biological function, nothing more. I cannot offer you emotional connection. Tae-won smiled gently. I am not asking for anything, Yura. I am doing this because I want to. Whatever happens, happens. Yura studied his face for a long time. You are very strange, human, so I have been told. The project began 1 week later. Valorian doctors prepared a special room on the station. They filled it with machines and monitors. They adjusted the temperature and lighting to match Valorian requirements. Yura underwent treatments to prepare her body. She explained each step to Tae-won in her scientific way. He listened and nodded, though he understood only half of what she said. On the night before the first attempt, Tae-won found Yura standing alone in the observation room. She was staring out at the stars again. Are you nervous? He asked. Yura did not answer immediately. Valorians do not feel nervousness. It is an inefficient emotion. She paused. But I am experiencing something similar. Perhaps your human feelings are affecting me. Tae-won laughed softly. Maybe they are. He stood beside her, and they watched the stars together in comfortable silence. The next day would change everything. But in that moment, they were just two people sharing the quiet beauty of space. Thank you, Yura said suddenly. Tae-won looked at her. For what? For not making this strange. For treating it like something normal? My own people would approach this with cold logic only. But you make it feel... She struggled to find the word. Human. Tae-won reached out and gently touched her hand. Her silver skin was cool and smooth. She did not pull away. Whatever happens tomorrow, he said, I am glad I met you, Yura. Yura's purple eyes met his. For just a second, she did not look like a cold alien scientist. She looked like a woman who was afraid and hopeful at the same time. I am glad too, she whispered. They stood there together until the station lights dimmed for the night cycle. Neither of them knew that tomorrow would bring something impossible. Something that would shake the entire galaxy to its core. 6 weeks had passed since the first attempt. Life on Unity Station returned to normal, or so it seemed. Yura continued her research. Tae-won continued his work as a xenobiologist. They saw each other every day, but neither of them spoke about the project. Yura had told Tae-won not to expect anything. Valorian biology was complicated. Even if conception was possible, it would take many attempts, probably years. She said they should continue living their normal lives and try again in a few weeks. Tae-won agreed. But he found himself watching Yura more closely than before. He noticed small things about her. The way she tilted her head when she was thinking, the soft glow of her purple eyes when she was interested in something, the rare moments when her lips curved into an almost smile. He was falling in love with her. He knew it was foolish. She had told him clearly that Valorians did not believe in love, but he could not help what he felt. One afternoon, the Galactic Union held a diplomatic reception in the main hall. Representatives from dozens of species gathered to discuss trade agreements and political matters. Taewon stood in the corner, feeling out of place in his formal uniform. He saw Yira across the room. She wore a flowing white gown that made her silver skin shine like starlight. She was talking to a group of Valorian officials, her face calm and composed as always. Then something happened. Yira stopped speaking in the middle of a sentence. Her eyes went wide. She put a hand on her stomach, and then she collapsed. Taewon pushed through the crowd without thinking. He reached her just as other Valorians gathered around her. Her eyes were closed, and her silver skin had turned pale. "Move aside," a Valorian doctor shouted. He knelt beside Yira and pressed a small device against her neck. His eyes widened when he saw the readings. "Get her to the medical bay immediately," he ordered. Taewon tried to follow, but a Valorian guard blocked his path. "This is a Valorian matter. You cannot come." "Oh." "She is my friend," Taewon said firmly. "I am coming." The guard looked like he wanted to argue, but something in Taewon's eyes made him step aside. The medical bay was a chaos of activity when they arrived. Valorian doctors surrounded Yira's bed, speaking rapidly in their own language. Human doctors stood nearby, looking confused and worried. Tae-1 stood at the edge of the room, his heart pounding in his chest. He did not understand what was happening. Was Yira sick? Was she dying? The thought made him feel cold inside, after what felt like hours. The Valorian doctor who had first helped Yira walked toward him. His face was pale, and his hands were shaking. "You are the human from the project," the doctor said. "The one called Taewon." "Yes. Is Yira okay?" "What happened to her?" The doctor opened his mouth, then closed it again. He looked like he did not know how to speak. "She is pregnant," he finally said. Taewon felt the world stop around him. "What? Ambassador Yira is pregnant?" "The tests confirm it. There is no doubt." Taewon grabbed the wall to steady himself. "But," she said, "it would take years." She said dozens of attempts. "That is what we all believed," the doctor said. His voice was barely a whisper. "In 10,000 years of recorded history, this has never happened. Not among our own people. Certainly not with another species. One attempt, a single attempt, and she is carrying a child." Taewon could not process what he was hearing. It was impossible. Everything Yira had told him said it was impossible. "I need to see her," he said. The doctor hesitated, then nodded. "She's been asking for you." Taewon walked to Yira's bed. The other Valorians stepped aside to let him pass. Their purple eyes followed him with expressions he could not read. Fear? Wonder? He did not know why Ira lay on the bed, her eyes open. When she saw Taewon, something changed in her face. She looked vulnerable in a way he had never seen before. "You are here," she said softly. Tae-1 took her hand. It was warmer than usual. "Of course, I am here. I will always be here." Yura's eyes filled with tears. Real tears. Taewon had never seen a Valorian cry before. He did not even know they could. "I do not understand what happened," she whispered. "This should not be possible. Everything we know about biology says this cannot happen. One attempt, one single attempt. How?" Taewon sat on the edge of her bed. He did not have an answer. He did not understand it either. "Maybe," he said slowly. "There are things about humans that even we do not understand." Yura looked at him with her tear-filled eyes. "My people have searched for compatible species for thousands of years. We have tried with hundreds of different races. We have never succeeded. Never." And then a human comes along, and she could not finish the sentence. The door opened, and a group of senior Valorian officials entered the room. They looked at Yura, then at Taewon. Their faces were hard to read. "This news must be kept secret for now," one of them said. If the galaxy learns about this, there will be chaos. It cannot be kept secret forever, another replied. The implications are too great. If humans can do this with us, they might be able to do it with other species too. This changes everything. Taewon felt Yera's hand tighten around his. He looked down at her, and she looked up at him. I am scared, she admitted. It was the most un-Valorian thing she had ever said. Tae-1 leaned closer to her. I am scared too, he said honestly. But we will face this together. Whatever comes, we will face it together. Yera nodded slowly. For the first time since he met her, she did not look like a cold alien scientist. She looked like a woman who needed someone to hold her hand. And Taewon was there to do exactly that. Outside the medical bay, the Valorian officials argued about what to do next. They talked about politics and science and galactic consequences. But inside the room, Taewon and Yera sat together in silence. They were going to have a baby. It was impossible, but it was true. And nothing in the galaxy would ever be the same again. The secret lasted only 2 weeks. Someone on the station leaked the news to a trading ship. Within days, every corner of the galaxy knew about the impossible pregnancy. Taewon watched the chaos unfold from the observation room. Ships arrived at Unity Station every hour. Some brought scientists who wanted to study Yura. Others brought politicians who wanted to talk about what this meant for their own species. A few brought protesters who carried signs calling humans dangerous. Director Hannah called an emergency meeting with the station's senior staff. Taewon was asked to attend. We have received over 3,000 requests for information, Hannah said. Her voice was tired. 40 different species want to know if humans can help them reproduce. Some of them are facing extinction, just like the Valorians. The military officer spoke up. We have also received threats. Some species see humans as a danger now. They worry we will spread too quickly. They call it genetic invasion. Taewon felt sick. He had only wanted to help Yura. He'd never imagined it would cause so much trouble. What about Ambassador Yura? He asked. Is she safe? She is under heavy guard, Hannah replied. The Valorian government has assigned their best security team to protect her. But there have been attempts to reach her. Some species want to take her for study. Others want to. She paused. We are doing everything we can. After the meeting, Taewon went to see Yura. She was in a private room now, surrounded by guards. When he entered, she was sitting by the window, her hand resting on her stomach. How are you feeling? He asked. Tired, she admitted. The baby is growing quickly, faster than a normal Valorian pregnancy. She looked at him. Human genes are very strong, it seems. Taewon sat next to her. I am sorry for all of this. The attention, the danger. I never wanted this for you. Yura shook her head. This is not your fault. This is what my people have been searching for. We just never expected to actually find it. She was quiet for a moment. My government wants to take me back to our homeworld. They say it is safer there. Taewon felt his heart drop. When? They want me to leave in 3 days. And the baby? Yura did not answer immediately. They see the child as a scientific miracle. They want to study her development. They have already made plans for tests and examinations. Her voice was flat, but Taewon could hear the sadness underneath. He stood up suddenly. No. Yura looked at him with surprise. What do you mean? I mean no. This is our child. Not a science experiment. Not a political tool. Our child felt anger burning in his chest. I will not let them treat her like a specimen in a lab. Taewon, you do not understand. The Valorian government is very powerful. They will not listen to a human. Then I will make them listen. Taewon left the room before Yura could stop him. He walked through the corridors of the station until he reached the conference room, where the Valorian officials were meeting. He pushed open the door without knocking. A dozen Valorian faces turned to look at him with cold surprise. You cannot be here, one of them said. This is a private meeting. Taewon ignored him. He walked to the center of the room and faced the highest-ranking official, an old Valorian with deep lines on his silver face. "I am the father of Ambassador Yura's child," Taewon said. His voice was steady, even though his heart was racing. "I have a right to speak about my daughter's future." The old Valorian raised an eyebrow. "Humans have no rights in Valorian matters. This is not just a Valorian matter. This child is half human, and I will not allow her to be raised in a laboratory, poked and examined like an animal." Silence filled the room. The Valorian officials exchanged glances. "What do you propose?" the old one asked finally. "I propose that Ira and the child stay with me, not on your homeworld, not on a research station. Somewhere safe and quiet where we can raise our daughter like a normal family." A younger official laughed. "A family. Valorians do not have families in the human sense. We do not understand your emotional attachments." Taewon turned to face him. "Maybe that is your problem. Maybe that is why your species cannot reproduce anymore. You have forgotten what it means to love. To care for someone without a scientific reason." The room went very quiet. Taewon knew he had gone too far. He expected them to throw him out or arrest him, but the old Valorian slowly nodded his head. "Perhaps," he said softly, "there is some truth in what you say. Perhaps we have lost something important over the centuries." He looked at the other officials. "Let us consider the humans' proposal. We have tried our way for 10,000 years and we are still dying. Maybe it is time to try something new." Taewon could not believe what he was hearing. He bowed his head respectfully. "Thank you. That is all I ask." He left the conference room and walked back to Yura. When he told her what happened, she stared at him in shock. "You challenged the Valorian Council," she said. "No one challenges the Council." "Did," Taewon replied. "For you? For our daughter?" Yura's purple eyes filled with tears again. She reached out and pulled Taewon close to her. It was the first time she had ever hugged him. "You foolish, wonderful human," she whispered. Tae-1 held her tight. Whatever came next, they would face it together. 1 year later, Taewon stood in the kitchen of their small home. He was cooking dinner while watching the sunset through the window. Outside, the fields of New Busan stretched to the horizon. Covered in golden grass that waved gently in the evening wind, New Busan was a human colony world. Far from the busy space stations and political centers of the galaxy, it was quiet here, peaceful, exactly what they needed. From the other room, he heard Yura singing softly. It was a Valorian lullaby, strange and beautiful, with notes that human voices could never reach. She was putting their daughter to sleep, their daughter. Sora smiled as he thought about her. Sora was 6 months old now, growing faster than anyone expected. She had her mother's silver-tinged skin and her father's warm brown eyes. When she laughed, which was often, the sound filled the whole house with joy. The door opened and Yura walked in. She looked different now than when Taewon first met her. Her face was softer. Her eyes were warmer. She smiled more easily. "She is sleeping," Yura said. She walked over to Taewon and wrapped her arms around him from behind. "What are you cooking?" "Soup. My mother's recipe." Yura rested her chin on his shoulder. "It smells good." They stood together in comfortable silence. Outside, the first stars began to appear in the darkening sky. Somewhere out there, the galaxy was still talking about them, about the impossible human Valorian child, about what it meant for the future. But here in this small kitchen, on this quiet world, none of that mattered. "I received a message from the Valorian High Council today," Yura said. Taewon turned to look at her. "What did they want?" "They want to send more Valorians to Earth. Hundreds of them. They want to try the compatibility program with more humans." Taewon nodded slowly. He had expected this. After Sora was born, healthy and strong, the galaxy realized that the impossible had truly happened. Other species began asking for help too. Species that were dying. Species that had given up hope long ago. "What did you tell them?" Yura smiled. "I told them it was not just about biology. I told them that humans have something special. Something that cannot be measured or studied in a laboratory." "What is that?" Yura turned him around, so they faced each other. She put her hands on his face. Love, Taewon. You taught me what love means. My people had forgotten it. We focused so much on science and logic that we forgot the most important thing. Taewon felt his heart swell. So what happens now? Now we teach them. Not just how to reproduce, but how to feel, how to connect, how to be families, not just breeding partners. Gira laughed softly. It will take time. My people are very stubborn, I noticed. Gira pushed his shoulder playfully. Be respectful. You were talking to a Valorian ambassador. I thought you resigned. I did. But they gave me a new title. They call me the bridge between worlds now. My job is to help Valorians understand humans, and humans understand Valorians. Taewon pulled her close. That sounds like a lot of work. It is, Gira agreed. But I have a good teacher. Small cry came from the other room. Sora was awake again. Gira sighed and started to walk toward the nursery, but Taewon stopped her. I will go, he said. Finish the soup. He walked into the nursery and looked down at his daughter. Sora's big eyes stared up at him, one purple and one brown. She reached her tiny hands toward him, making happy sounds. Taewon picked her up gently. Hello, little one. Did you have a bad dream? Sora grabbed his finger and held on tight. She was so small, yet she represented something so big. She was proof that different species could come together. Proof that the galaxy did not have to be divided into us and them. He carried her to the window and showed her the stars. You see those lights up there? Someday, you will visit all of them. You will meet species that look nothing like you and find friends in the strangest places. And when they ask who you are, you will tell them. Sora made a cooing sound. You will tell them you are Sora, daughter of Taewon and Gira, born from love between two worlds. And you are proof that anything is possible. Gira appeared at the door. She watched them silently, tears in her eyes. Taewon looked at her and smiled. Join us, he said. Gira walked over and stood beside him. The three of them looked out at the stars together. A family that should not exist but did anyway. Gira said quietly when I first came to study humans. I thought you were primitive, simple. I thought my people had nothing to learn from you, and now